Thank you for joining me in the Sacred Treehouse. My name is Dr. T. Welcome to the Sacred Space. Well, today's video is a Jamaican edition. I am currently in Jamaica on vacation, and I decided to do a video because I had just some reminders of who we are as human beings and how powerful we can be once we really put our minds to it. So it started making me think about the elements and also zodiac. When I think about the zodiac signs, of course, we're all connected to the elements with our zodiac. But the elements aren't stagnant. Therefore, you shouldn't allow yourself to be boxed in due to a zodiac sign. You know, we talk about how important it is to recognize recurring patterns of behaviors, negative ones that don't serve us. And that could potentially be a block if you may be even unconscious of your zodiac signs limitations. And if you don't know the element of your zodiac sign, I'm going to tell you today. So we're currently in Gemini season, so we'll talk about air signs. Air signs are Geminis, Libras, and Aquarius. And air signs are usually the thinkers of the zodiac. And we're usually the ones that got our heads in the clouds and that are mostly about big ideas. And sometimes it can be hard for us to ground ourselves to execute those ideas. But as a part of being an air sign, you'll see that some of these elements to the personality traits, they can be true, but that doesn't mean that you just default to it. It's like anything else in life. You recognize what's serving you and what's not serving you. If you have some big ideas and you have found it hard to really ground or settle on one, you need to take out time to write down the most important ones and come up with some sort of plan. And I would even say to ask yourself questions. How important is this to me? Why do I want to start this business, or why do I want to execute this idea? So I would say dig a little deeper as an air sign, because that's sometimes we can ask too many questions, again, still have our heads in the clouds and not execute. So just ask a few questions, just dig a little deeper. Don't take too much time, but do some reflection, and then take one idea and execute it. Something small, something as simple as, let's say you want to start cooking, or you're a great baker. Just start baking some cookies and selling them to your neighbors. Advertise. I know social media is a big thing. Advertise on social media. Something so small. So if you start small and you really perfect that one idea, that will help you actually to start seeing how you can ground other ideas and making those ideas come to life and generating something more positive for you. And once we move out of Gemini season, we'll be in Cancer season, which are the water signs: Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. And the water signs are very emotional. And when I say emotional, I'm not thinking about, boo-boo and tears, which that's a part of it too. But more so deeply feeling, right? And sometimes those deep feelings, those passions can get in the way of really seeing big pictures, because sometimes with the water signs, they can fixate on certain things. And they can allow their emotions to be extreme. And so there is a sense of balance that's needed. So I would suggest, if you feel as if you fall in that category, whether you're a water sign or not, and you feel like you need more balance, I suggest meditating. Taking out just a few minutes of your day in the morning, no more than 15. I would say get a guided meditation, because sometimes sitting in silence, if you haven't meditated before, can be very difficult. So I would get a guided meditation so you can meditate and start balancing your emotions, and also begin to ground yourself, because it can be challenging. Those of us who have dealt with, having our emotions all over the place and not knowing what to do with it. It's so funny. I think about kids. Kids will definitely know what to do with their emotions. To us, it looks crazy. They're throwing tantrums, they're crying, but they're letting you know something is off, right? Like, I'm tired, I'm hungry. And even if they can use their words and articulate it, sometimes expressing that big emotion, it actually helps them to release. Now, as adults, that cannot always be healthy. If you're working at a job, you can't scream and throw a tantrum. So you have to find more conducive and healthy ways to manage your emotions. And once we move out of now transitioning, moving from the water signs and keep in mind, all of this is very general. I'm not diving deep into zodiac signs. I want to reiterate the message of not allowing yourself to get boxed in to your zodiac signs personality traits, right? Because anything that keeps us in a box, anything that keeps us from expanding is not healthy. So the examples that I'm giving you, as far as, some of the typical traits of these, the elements within the sign, right? So like the air signs, like I said, typically very intellectual, very heads in the clouds. Water signs, very passionate, very emotional, right? So these are some of the typical traits. Nothing is wrong with these traits, but keep in mind, we live in a dualistic world. So you will have the light and the dark with any of these signs. And so your job is to tap into both of them, to see what's serving you and to see what's not serving you. Because remember, sometimes your ego is necessary for competition. When you're trying to, let's say, land a job, you have to have that confidence, right? And if you're trying to have if you're trying to concrete a big idea, ground it, sometimes you need that blind faith that you just got to keep going. You're going to make mistakes. You can't try to figure out all the details. You can't answer all of the questions, right? So once we move out of the sign of Cancer, the water sign, then we move into Leo season, which is at the end of July. I think like July 21st or 22nd, something like that. And Leos, Sagittarius, and Aries, those are the fire signs. Fire signs can be fast moving energy. Also, fire signs, and because of that, the fast moving energy, and when you think about fire can burn things down, or when you meter a fire, it can actually help, and you use it, you can transform things like metal, for example, right? You use fire to create things for transformation, but fire can also be destructive if not harnessed properly. So when you think about these things as they relate to the elemental part of your zodiac sign, you want to make sure that you are leaning in. You want to lean into both, right? So you can understand yourself holistically. And then you have to figure out what has been serving me positively and what has not been serving me. And so I would say, for an example, with a fire sign, fire signs can give us an opportunity to see how important it is to use that fire inside of us to ignite something, to create something. But also that fire inside of us can actually be destructive of our own nature. It could burn us from the inside out and keep us from seeing clearly, you know. And I'm even looking at the smoke from the incense, and I'm just thinking about not being able to see what's important, because you're so focused on, and when I think about fire signs, they're big energy. Like, they want to, and some of them can be type A people, right? So even for fire signs, not kind of, they zoom out because they see the big picture. And sometimes they need to zoom in, and they also need to start small. So, for example, if you feel like you want to accomplish this big goal of something in your career, and you know that it's attainable, that you can get it. However, I would say you're kind of catapulting over certain things and not taking the necessary steps, because you'll bulldoze down and you'll mess up relationships if you're not careful. There are certain steps that, as fire signs, you need to be able to see before trying to run through and grab hold of something grand that you want. So you want to make sure that you are not damaging any relationships, and be it professional or personal, right? When you're trying to attain a goal. So that's what I want to say. I want to circle back to that. Then I want to move into our last element, which is Earth. And that would be, after Leo season, is Virgo. So Earth signs are Virgo. And we just currently left out of Taurus too. So Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus. So these signs, usually you will find that Earth signs are more grounded. So they're a little bit more grounded. And sometimes they can be too grounded, where they're unable to take flight, if that makes sense. So when we started with the air signs are already in the air. They done took flight. They need to come down to the ground. Earth signs, it may be a little bit harder for them to take flight. Some of them can be very meticulous, but also with the element of Earth, it's very heavy, right? So it may not even be the fact that they don't want to take flight. It may be kind of hard for them to take flight because they're focused on the material part more than anything. They're focused, on the home. They're focused on the money. They're focused on all things material. So it may be a little bit harder for them to get up and execute certain things. But once they do, because if you know Beyonce, she is a Virgo, and some of the greats are Earth signs. But even Michael Jackson, Virgo, the Virgos are very meticulous in their detail. As I see that trait, and also like Capricorns. I'm not too sure about Tauruses, but overall, what I notice is that the groundedness is a great thing when you are creating things of the material world. But it can also be a hindrance if you want to expand and try to have new ideas, think outside of the box, right? If you're not careful, that grounding energy can keep you, again, any of these can keep you inside of a box in that particular element. Also, we can't forget about the fifth element, which I've been alluding to throughout my message here. You are the fifth element. All of these elements you can manipulate at any time. You can lean into at any time, which makes you the alchemist, which makes you the magician, right? So you're able to create the life that you desire by tapping into any of these elements at any time. You know, you need that strong passion, that boldness, that courage. You want to tap into some of that fire energy. You need to feel something deeply and really connect to others in a more deeper way. You can tap into some of the water energy. If you want to think deeper and have more intellectual conversations and intellectual insights, you want to tap into some of that air energy. And if you want to ground yourself and create something lasting for your family, the future of your family, you want to tap into that earth energy. You are that fifth element. So it is very important. Me being here in Jamaica, being out in nature, is a reminder of that. You know, being in all of the elements. It's a reminder that I'm the fifth element. I get to enjoy and tap into all of this beautiful energy, but ultimately I get to create the life and the experiences that I desire. All right, so I just wanted to jump on and give this message. And since I've been here, I didn't bring many of my cards. At first I had quite a few, and it was kind of heavy for my luggage, and I said, you know what, we just gonna because I wasn't even planning on doing the video, first of all, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take one deck. And this is one of my favorites, The Secrets of the Ancestors. I really love this deck. And then coming here to Jamaica, just the history of everything, it made me think about bringing this. And when I say the history of everything, the history of ancestors, slaves that have been passed through here, slaves that worked this ground. We did do the tour of the Appleton Estate, Appleton Rum Estate tour, and there was a statue dedicated to the slaves who worked the sugarcane plantation, and they worked them very hard. I remember reading one time, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, the slaves in Jamaica who were on the sugarcane plantation, the women, they worked them so hard, the women did not have menstrual cycles. They barely had menstrual cycles. So I read that somewhere. Now on the estate, they just told us, you know, they worked in horrible conditions, and they showed us how they first started with using a donkey, and how they slowly, gradually, and this is just the making of the rum, and the making of the rum actually came from slaves using the molasses from, I guess, the melting process of the sugar canes. I don't want to go through all of the processes because I don't know them and I will be tripping it up. So but the rum was made from the molasses, and this, you know, the slaves started this tradition because, of course, they were given, the majority of the slaves in America were given the scraps of everything. So guess what? Our ancestors had to make lemonade out of lemons, and that's what they did with everything that they were given. We excelled, and what a wonderful way to end this message, because we are, our ancestors are the alchemists. We're the magicians. We've utilized everything to our disposal, everything in nature, all of the elements, all of the resources that we were given and not given, to create magic, create beautiful things from it. we learn how to do it to continue to survive. And we will continue because we are a strong people. As I was talking to a couple of rosters here, just how strong we are. And we're going to continue to persevere. And although I'm talking about my ancestors, this message is for everyone. Learn how to alchemize and become your own magician to create the life that you desire. I know that I'm on this, I'm on social media, right? I'm on YouTube. But step away from YouTube, social media for a minute. I turned off everything when I got here. And allow yourself to start tapping into nature, tapping into something a little deeper other than your day-to-day activities. And another thing I was noticing, everybody's on the phone. I don't care where you go. Everybody's on the phone. So don't allow this to trip you up either. Don't let this be your addiction. Put it away. Go out in nature, wherever you are. Ground yourself. Again, utilizing all of, smell the air, right? Let the sun hit your back. Feel that heat. Go to a beach. Go to a lake. So tap into all 4 elements and connect, because you are the 5th element, so you can begin to receive information to help you evolve. All right, so we're going to pull a few cards this morning. Just a few. Let's pull 3. Let's do a 3-card spread. This is to my magical magicians. Believe me when I say I am in bliss right now, because I work hard. Hard. So this vacation is well deserved. The ancestors, what message do you have for us today, for the viewers, as we close out? Or what confirmations as we close out this message about being the fifth element, alchemizing, and also being magicians in our own lives? Just the message. Okay, and then at the bottom of the deck, creature of air, speed. Something that you're not seeing. I'm gonna read this one. I do know that the creature of air is the energy of taking off, taking flight, as we were talking about earlier, but you also have to be careful, because sometimes we can move too fast. So this card also tells us to, even though we may get inspired to take action, also take our time to understand where you're going. And I think I started with that. Like, why am I doing this? Why do I want to continue to do this? How will I maintain and sustain this? And so on and so forth. All right. Creature of earth, taking charge. Card number 39. Creature of earth. I'm going to read this one. All right. Focus. Take responsibility for every aspect of your life. Eventually, your hard work will pay off. You will see the success you desire. Be loyal to your own dreams. Patience is required. Slow and steady wins the race. Presently, it's about being solid and stable. All right. So grounding yourself. So first, ground yourself as we look at the 3-card spread. When you are uncomfortable with emotions, your own or other people's, you are robbing yourself of experiencing true intimacy. Being vulnerable means allowing yourself to be uncomfortable and still be open. Make space for others to be vulnerable with you as well. And the affirmation, the declaration is, I finish what I start. So ground yourself. Start taking note. Know that patience is required for this journey you're about to embark on. All right, so the Conjure Woman, manifestation, the Conjure Woman, card number 1. Let's read this one as well. We're gonna read through all of these. gonna let this message really resonate today. All right, so the conjure woman, she tells you, you can do it. Believe in yourself. And when that is difficult, believe in us, your ancestors. Didn't I just say that? I know I said that. Who have your back. This is a good season for you. If you get out of your own way and allow it to be, you are an alchemist. I just said that. As within, so without. Nurture your gifts and give birth to your creative ventures. The conjure woman ancestor brings gifts of manifestation and creation. The infinity sign is a reminder that she is limitless, and so are you. And the conjure woman corresponds to the card of the magician. And the declaration is, I am a magnet for manifesting mysterious miracles. I love when everything aligns, because as you just saw, I shuffled these cards and I randomly pulled them out, right? So, I mean, everything is aligned with the message. All right, number 2, the high priestess, intuition and knowingness. So, I've pulled this card several times, but I'm going to read from the book, the guidebook. Stop searching for answers, meaning, and power everywhere but inside of yourself. So go within. The powerful high priestess ancestor comes forward to say that it is time to go deep within. I said that earlier. There's something that you know that there is something that you know that you may even have been in denial about for a long time. You are a child of the moon, connected to infinite intelligence. Remember that. Insist that your voice be heard. No more people pleasing. You know what you need to know. Trust your own voice and your intuition. A still small voice is in us. We, your ancestors, are the divine, and so are you. The high priestess. My intuition is my direct channel to divine spirit. So as I was saying earlier, take out time. Do some evaluation, some deep diving, right? And go within to figure out what it is that you're trying to create or manifest moving forward. And last but not least, let's look at the creature of air. And so remember, we're utilizing all of the elements to our disposal. All right, 34, creature of air. You are highly driven and running towards what you want in pursuit of your desires. The speed is evident, but where is the heart? If you are asking a yes or no question, this ancestor leaps forward with a slither to say no. Make a decision, speak your mind, slow down, and make aligned choices. Your passion and confidence are clear. If someone is coming at you, remember you don't have to attend every fight you are invited to. Your reckless communication style is not working. Air ancestors are the most analytical. I just talked about the air signs. There is a difference between being assertive and arrogant or out of control. This tarot correspondence is with the Knight of Swords, and the affirmation is, I'm willing to take my time. So even though you feel the need that it's time to take action, this ancestor is saying, you got the speed, right? It's there. Slow down. Get grounded. Get grounded first. Ask some necessary questions. Go within. Do some deep diving. Go to your intuition. Find out what it is that you need to, I would say, find out what patterns you want to correct, what negative patterns you want to correct. And then from there, go ahead, do your manifestations. Get in alignment so that you can begin to conjure what you want. Also, with the ancestor cards, call on your ancestors. What does this mean? I would say pray and ask for guidance from the spirit. Ask for guidance. I truly believe in spirit guides. I believe in angels. we cannot possibly be walking around by ourselves. There are too many non-coincidences, things that take place that you're like, I don't even know how that happened. I don't know how I met this person at this time, or I went to this place, but something told me to go. So in my mind, that's an ancestor, or you can call them spirit guides. You can call them God, whatever you want to call them. But for me, I feel like that there are spirit guides, there are ancestors that walk with us, they're closer to us, they guide and protect us. And when you do pray for your benevolent ancestors. Pray for those, because if they were mischievous in the previous life, they may be mischievous in the spiritual life as well. So you want those that are very wise to come to you and give you the advice. But that's how you tap into the ancestral spirit. That's definitely how you tap into it. All right. Well, I hope this message helps someone and bless someone. It's always a blessing for me to come on here and give a message that hopefully will bless someone and give you what you need just in this moment. Until the next time, and don't forget, like and subscribe to my channel and leave a comment. I love reading your comments. All right.